Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Good. Well, my name is Julie Walker. I'm a professor at Southwest Minnesota State University in Communication Studies, and I am the assistant director of forensics up at the college. And I am an avid storytelling lover. I have loved storytelling since I was a wee little tiny child, and my dad told me the story of Cinderella the Streetwalker. He didn't always like those traditional fairy tales. He liked to give that little like parenting twist, where you've read the same book so many times that you just can't stand to read it the same way anymore. So you change some of the details and you throw a little humor in so that your other parent can like laugh about stuff with you. And kids don't really get it. Those are my favorite kinds of fairy tales. From then I've kind of continued developing this, and so along the way I've fallen in love with lots of other storytelling shows like The Moth and Snap Judgment and Strangers. If you haven't seen that or listened to that one, that's an absolutely fantastic podcast put out by Lee and Tao. And among all of these, it just gave me this bug. I said, I gotta start one of these because there are stories here in Marshall and the surrounding areas, and we need people to be able to hear those stories. We need to lift them up, the everyday of the people who live in this area. And thus, the Marshall Area Storytellers, MAST, was born in 2015. This is our third holiday show, I think, here at the library. They always host us for our holiday show. This year's theme is the Holiday Hustle. And I don't think that that's all that unique necessarily, because every holiday seems to be a little bit busy. But I'm really excited about the stories that we're going to be hearing here today. Our first storyteller is a regular here on the masked stage. And this is the only kind of setting where you'll ever hear her called regular, because she's just an absolutely wonderful person, but she's a little off the walls every now and then. Sue Morton is going to be telling our first story tonight. And she's become an absolutely dear friend of mine. She has told stories with us on a variety of different things. Some of her stories, she told a story one time about a cafeteria and some milk and some trouble at a Catholic school. And she's told stories that other people have told her. We've heard her hog call before. And today, she's going to be telling us a story called When the Animals Talked. So without further ado, please welcome up to the stage, Sue Morton.
I'm not a lectern person. They stunt my growth. So I don't bother with lectern. Thank you for being here tonight. This is a beautiful audience. So I want to share one of my favorite Christmas stories with you. Well, it's not one Christmas story. It's kind of a mash of 3 or 4 different Christmas stories that have come together for me. And I hope you enjoy it. So once upon a time, not so very long ago, on a very starlit night, and by the way, one of those stars was just the brightest star you've ever seen. The animals talked. Now, they didn't just moo and neigh or baa. They talked like human beings. And people said that they thought it was a miracle. It was a special gift to celebrate the coming of the baby Jesus. Now it seems that all that day, on that particular Christmas Eve, the animals knew that something strange was in the air. Something was going to happen. Why, that cow, she paced back and forth through that stable all day long. Every once in a while, she would stop and she would eat a little bit of hay out of the manger. And one time, as she paced past that manger, she literally came to a total standstill. She took all of that hay out of that manger, piled it on the floor, and filled it with brand new hay. And from that point on, she only ate from the pile of hay. Now, she had no idea why she had done this, and she couldn't explain it to the other animals at all. And Donkey, oh my, he was fretting all day, and his hooves itched like no tomorrow. Sure sign the company was coming. You bet. And Oscar the dog, well, Oscar the dog, his typical day was to get up and eat, and to play with the kids, and to eat again, and to play with the kids, and to nap with the kids, and to eat again, and just go all day. But he spent that entire day perched right outside the stable door, staring off into the distance, just waiting. Strange day indeed. People wondered what was going to happen. The animals just felt odd that particular day. And, you know, folklore says that Jesus, baby Jesus, was born on midnight on the first day of Christmas. And wouldn't you know, right on the stroke of midnight, the Christ child was born. And the animals watched as that baby was wrapped up in swaddling and laid in that manger. And the cow was the first to speak. And she said, "What a beautiful child!" And the donkey said, "Ah, what a gift." "I," said the donkey, "I carried his mother uphill and down. And I carried his mother all through here and to Bethlehem town." "Ah," said the donkey. "Well, I," said the cow, "I gave that babe my manger for his bed. I gave that babe hay for a pillow for his head." "I," said the cow. "I," said the sheep with the curly horns, "I'll give that babe my wool, a blanket to warm." "I," said the sheep with the curly horns, "I," cooed the dove from the rafters up high. I will coo that baby to sleep, my partner. Furry Whiskers, the stable cat, sat up high in the rafters and looked down below her, and she licked her paws, and she cleaned herself. She said, "And I will keep eye and watch on the baby until all is well and everyone is safe." So it came that those animals decided just to sing out. The chickens started clucking and they said, "Oh, let's just sing our praises." And their words came out all in human voices. Words of love, words of praise. And they chatted right up until the shepherds arrived. And the moment those shepherds stepped through that stable door, their voices were. And we were back to neighs and moos and tweets and meows. Just like it had been before. Now you see, those shepherds had been up on a hill just outside of Bethlehem, watching those sheep. And Josiah, the youngest, he was supposed to be the one on steady watch, but he kind of fell asleep and nodded off. But then again, he would nod awake and get up and he would circle all around those sheep in that herd and make sure they were all there and they were all safe, because he really was a good little herdsman. And he looked up at one moment and he saw a very bright light. And it was so bright that the other shepherds were afraid. And they covered their heads and they ducked down. And Josiah, well, he was a little bit afraid too, but he wanted to see what it was. And he looked up into that bright light and there was an angel there. And the angel said to him, "Oh, do not be afraid. I'm bringing news of great joy." And so the others rose up and heard the angel tell them all about Jesus. Oh, Josiah was excited. He wanted to go visit that baby. And the other shepherds say, "Josiah, you're the youngest. You stay put. We'll go, and then tomorrow you can visit." And so the shepherds were off. And on that second day, not only did they visit the Christ child, but you know how it is when there's a new baby on the block. One visitor after another, because they had spread the word about this newborn king, and everyone wanted to see the baby. And it was a busy, busy, busy day. Visitors in, visitors out. And everyone was tired and exhausted at the end of the day. So Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus had no problem falling asleep at all. Not so on the third day of Christmas. On the third day of Christmas, more and more visitors streamed in for the sleep. And by that night, oh, let me be honest with you, baby Jesus was a little bit fussy. And Mary was so exhausted, and Joseph was so tired. And after all, that stable wasn't the warmest place in the world. It was kind of chilly. And, oh, they'd come all that way from Bethlehem. And just exhausted. And they just wanted to sleep. But baby Jesus started crying. Oh, Joseph had not at all thought all was well, but no. He woke up to the cries of baby Jesus, and Mary says, oh, he's just so cold. So Joseph started a fire, and he'd fan that fire, but he couldn't keep it going. It just kept going out, so the ox came over and blew its big breath on it, got those flames going again, but couldn't keep it going. The donkey tried, the dog tried. They couldn't get it warmed up in that stable until in flew a winter robin. And she flew right in, and she perched on that manger, and she fluffed out her feathers in a fan, and she used her wings for a belly. And she poofed up that fire and got it going, and that stable was so toasty warm that baby Jesus fell asleep, and so did Mary and Joseph. And on the fourth day of Christmas, it wasn't much better. Not at all. Baby Jesus was beyond fussy. He was now downright cranky. And he cried, and Mary tried to sing to him to get him to sleep. And Joseph would pick him up and rock him and pace back and forth and back and forth. And just about the time he was sound asleep, and he laid him down in the manger, he would wake right back up and cry and cry. And Mary was just totally exhausted. And they had no clue what they could do to get this baby to sleep. When down from the rafters flew the stork. And she plucked at her chest, and she plucked out some nice downy feathers, and she laid them under the head of the baby, and made a nice soft pillow, and he fell to sleep. And then day 5. Oh yeah, we weren't just fussy. And we weren't just cranky that night, we were just downright cranky. And baby Jesus cried, and he cried, and he cried, and he cried. And Mary cried, and she thought, oh, I thought I'd be a better mother than this. I didn't think this would be so hard. And Joseph tried to soothe them both, and then he cried, he said, I didn't think it'd be so hard to be a father. Oh, they were just exhausted beyond tears, and they didn't know what to do. And baby Jesus cried, and he cried, and he cried, and he cried. And that's when Furry Whiskers, sitting up there on her favorite rafter, looked down, leaned her face. Yeah, she said, I need sleep too, and I know what to do. And she hopped right down and into that manger, and she cuddled underneath to baby Jesus, and she started purring. She purred, and in no time, baby Jesus was fast asleep. And every night after that, Furry Whiskers came down out of the rafters and cuddled and purred with baby Jesus. Now we know that on the 8th day, on the 8th day was when baby Jesus got his name. That's because an angel had appeared to Joseph many days before that and said, okay, this is the baby's name. It's going to be Jesus. And then on the 12th day, what happened? The 3 kings arrived, the Magi, with gifts, frankincense, gold, and myrrh. And we know now that every night, every Christmas Eve night, wide-eyed children get out of their beds, and they go out to the stables and the farms, and they wait to hear the animals talk. I, said the donkey, I carried his mother up hill and down. I carried his mother from Bethlehem town. I, said the donkey. I, said the cow. Well, I gave that babe my manger for his bed. I gave that babe some hay for his pillow. I, said the cow. I, said the sheep with the curly horns. I'll give that babe my wool for a blanket warm. I, said the sheep. I, said the dove. I'll coo that babe to sleep, my partner and I, said the dove. I, said the cat. I'll cuddle and purr and make sure that that baby goes to sleep for sure. Oh, you know, the parents don't believe it though. They grouse and they grump and they say those children need to be inside and they need to be in a nice warm bed. They don't need to be out there in the barn waiting for some cow to give them a sermon. But you know what? The children know. The children believe. And they know that every Christmas Eve, stroke them in